Hello guys, my name is Darklek, and as you can see right behind me, in this episode we get into one of my favorite mods of all time, Applied Energistics 2. I hope you guys are ready. Hello guys, and welcome to episode 12 of our Hardcore All the Mods 9 Let's Play series. In this episode, oh wow, I am so excited for this episode, as in this episode, if you guys don't know, we are getting into Applied Energistics, which is one of my favorite mods of all time. And I am so excited. In the last episode, we went ahead and actually got completely set up for it by expanding our farms and actually getting ourselves some more of these different materials set up. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of them, as well as we're now getting the unobtainium and vibranium. However, now that our farm is expanded, we can actually go ahead and get ourselves set up with Applied Energistics 2. And thankfully, we already have the stuff to get started with that. So let's not waste any time, because this is going to be a very, very big video. Let's get straight into Applied Energistics 2. And thankfully, we actually have one of the things already done, which would have had to gone out to find ourselves a meteor to get these different presses, but we already have them all in our refined storage. And what these are supposed to give us the ability to do is we're going to be able to go ahead and craft all of the different templates right here with these presses. And we're going to also, because we have our mystical agriculture set up in the way that it is right now, we're going to just go ahead and grow these materials. Like, we're going to grow silicon, we're going to be growing the Certus quartz, and then we're also going to be growing these flux crystals. And that is basically the basic components for Applied Energistics. And with those, you can literally make anything. And this is going to be upgrading our storage significantly. However, let's go ahead and get the room set up for Applied Energistics 2. Now, as you can see, we got ourselves silicon and Certus quartz seeds. But that's only half of the puzzle, because we are going to need these flux crystals, and to get these, we're just going to need to throw charged Certus quartz crystals with redstone and quartz into water, and it'll give us 2 flux crystals. And we're going to need to get a little bit of this, but to do that, we are going to need something called a charger. And this charger is basically what is going to end up charging our crystals. It's really easy to set up as well. We can just head on over to here. And we're just going to go ahead and craft this, as we basically have everything that we need for it. Now, eventually, what I want to do is I want to make this extended charger. However, this requires some other things from Applied Energistics that we don't have yet. But for now, this will be more than fine. We'll just dig out this little spot right here. And then we'll put this charger right into here. And how this works is we just put our quartz into here, and it should immediately turn into charged Certus quartz. And now if we simply just throw this all into here, like so, if we just throw it into here, it is all going to combine like that and turn directly into these flux crystals. And these are going to be incredibly useful, as these are one of the core building blocks for Applied Energistics. At least it's more advanced stuff. And we're going to need a lot of it. That is why I set up this Applied Energistics farm in the back using mystical agriculture. We are currently growing 2 silicon seeds and 2 Certus quartz seeds. And that is because we are going to need a lot of this stuff. And I'm also growing gold and diamonds even faster now, because, again, we are going to need a lot of it, and I mean a lot. And this is going to be the room that we are going to be using. I did decide to change out a couple of these blocks. Like, this is like the hazard gray concrete, and then this is like wired gray concrete from the chipped mod. It looks really good, and the wired stuff is going to fit this theme perfectly, as this mod is going to have quite a bit of wires. However, now that we actually have this fully set up, we can go ahead and start actually setting up these things to do inscribing. And it is going to take a little bit of a setup. I won't waste your guys' time. Let me just set this up, and then I'll show you guys how this all works. Now, I know that this looks complicated, and it's really not. I can show you guys exactly how this thing works, and it's actually not complicated at all. It just requires a little bit of setup to automate. What this is this is an inscriber. What this is going to be doing is it is going to be turning materials that we put into this chest into the circuit form of this. And for example, the ones that we're going to be using this time around is the calculation processors. And what this is going to require us to get is some Certus quartz. So we're going to go ahead and craft ourselves about, you know, let's do 3 stacks. Let's do 3 stacks for now. I think that is completely fine for the time being. And we're going to just put 3 stacks of this into here. And as you're going to see, this is going to start filling up. Now, this does require energy. So I'm going to go quickly grab a flux point, and I can show you guys that in a second. And just like that, we got ourselves our flux points. We're really quickly going to go ahead and connect these to our network. So we're going to go through all of these, set these all to the network setting. And just like that, now this all should be powered. And what you're going to see here is this is going to slowly go up, and it's going to turn into printed calculation circuits. And what we're going to have in this middle chest is really simple. We're literally just putting in redstone. So we're going to go ahead and quickly grab ourselves about, you know, 3 stacks. 3 stacks seems about fine. And we're going to just put that into this middle chest. And what that's going to do is it's going to head into here. You can insert from any side. But first thing we need to do is we actually need to set this to pull, which apparently I didn't have it set. But now this is going to start putting redstone here. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to take this bottom part and we're going to put in silicon. And this silicon is going to be able to make ourselves silicon processors, if I'm not mistaken. And to make silicon, it's really easy. You just take 3 in a line and we get 8. Like, the seeds for this are really efficient. And all we have to do now is we just put this into here, and this is just going to process and make us these printed circuits. And then these are going to go into here, and this is going to just make ourselves these calculation processors. And these calculation processors is what we're going to actually need to do to go ahead and make these circuits and most of the things in our build. And this can be sped up because this is a little bit slow. What we can do with applied energistics, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves some acceleration cards. And it's really easy to make. We take these calculation processors, get some diamond, redstone, and iron, and then we just put flux crystals here, and it will make us an acceleration card. And because this is, like, set up the way it is, this is completely automatic, and you can just, whenever you need them, have it send over to here and just process all of this. And when we get further into applied energistics, we can have it automate making itself. And there we go. We got ourselves all the acceleration cards. And as you can see, this is now going to start going incredibly fast. So it's not even going to take that much time to actually craft up all of these circuits. It is significantly better than older versions, as in old versions, you could only put 1 item into here at a time. You couldn't stack them. And that was an issue because what that was doing is it basically made it so it was dependent on the ticks required to put all of the items in at once. And you were only able to put like 1 of these in at a time. And it was terrible. And now you're actually able to put more than that in here at a time. And as you can see, we already have 44. And there's an even better inscriber in here, actually, and that is the extended inscriber. And this can hold 4 of these items at once. It runs 4 inscribing jobs at once. That is what we are going to want to end up making later on, as that is going to significantly speed us up in the process of actually making these processors. And we could even have one of these, a single one, running all of the items that we need. We could make every single one of these circuits all at once. We could make all 4 of them within a single one of these, and that is going to be insanely helpful. But for right now, this is doing the job plenty fine. Also, comment down below what we should name this little guy. I'm still waiting on you guys to actually give me a name. The first person who gives a good name, I'm gonna go ahead and name him. So that could be your name. So go down in the comments and write what we should call this little guy. And now with all of these resources, we can actually now craft ourselves the controller for this mod. And the controller is kind of basically what holds everything together in this, and it's one of my favorite looking blocks, but we are going to need to get ourselves engineering processors. And the nice thing about the setup we have down there, we're going to make more. However, if we wanted to, we could go ahead and just switch out the different presses, but I definitely think in the long run, it's just going to be better to have all 4 of these set up universally. So let's go ahead and do that. And also, if you didn't know this, you could actually go ahead and make these different plates. And it's actually really easy. The one way you could do it is by putting the plates in the inscribers and crushing an iron block into these. But there's a very easy way using mystical agriculture. And it's just by using this Certus Quartz essence, and in the middle, whatever resource you want the template to be. In this case, I want a silicon template, and just like that, we got ourselves a inscriber silicon press. And that is just a little quality of life tip. If you don't know that already, well, now you do. And there we go. We got the entire thing set up. I added a little bit of item frames to make it a little more visually appealing to the viewers, so you guys can see what is going into which chest, and then how that is all getting crafted up. Like in this case, it's just Certus Quartz, redstone, and silicon to make ourselves the calculation processors, and then it is diamond, redstone, and silicon to go ahead and make us the engineering processors. And this is actually what we needed to go and make ourselves the entire framework for what we're going to be using for Applied Energistics. So we're going to go ahead and look up Applied Energistics, and we are going to make the ME controllers, and this is basically the entire core of our setup, and we are going to want a good amount of this, but as you can see, this looks very similar to something. Yes, that is because both of these are storage mods, and they both kind of got, well, I'm pretty sure Refined Storage got inspiration from Applied Energistics, and basically made a dumbed-down version of Applied Energistics. I'm pretty sure that's how the case is, don't quote me on that, but Applied Energistics is basically the big brother of Refined Storage, and now, in the middle here, this is where things get really cool. We're gonna go ahead, and for now, we're gonna break out this spot in the floor. We don't want to break both of these, we're just gonna break the one section. We're gonna put that right here. I love how I placed it in the wrong spot. So we're going to go ahead and put that right here. Also, if you're wondering how I just broke that with nothing in my hand, I have this digging claws that increases my base mining level to stone. So I can break things that are up to stone level mining with my bare hands. But we can go ahead and place this into here. And that is going to be our energy. And to actually get this powered up, we're not going to do it quite yet because we need a lot of these, like not a tiny bit of these. We need enough to make ourselves basically a ring that is 5 by 5 by 5. So it's a good amount of controllers. So let's go ahead and craft all those up. And there we go. We have finished making the structure, and it looks something like this. And yeah, this is a really cool looking structure. And it isn't even at its coolest, because there is, in fact, I just need a power, and then you guys are going to see the magic of this. So we're going to get ourselves a flux point, but we ran out of these flux cores, so we're going to need some obsidian. Let's go get ourselves some obsidian. We were growing obsidian essence right here. And then just like that, we get ourselves a stack of obsidian. And just like that, bada bing, bada boom, we get ourselves a flux point. And now I can show you guys why this mod with it's one of the prettiest blocks in all of Minecraft, in my opinion. Like, hold on. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna power this. As soon as we switch this to the network, boom. You can't tell me that this isn't, like, one of the coolest controllers for a setup in the game. Like, this looks insanely cool. I love this mod's, like, controller so much. It's so beautiful, and we are going to be using this a lot, as this is basically the core of our operations. And as you can see, we have stored power. This is going to continue filling up over time whenever it's being used. And this has 0 channels used. And the reason we wanted all of these blocks is because each of these counts as a channel. And that is going to allow us to hook up multiple things to this network. And with all of these blocks, if I'm not mistaken, we can hook somewhere around, like, 200-ish channels. So this is going to be incredibly powerful, and we can hook this up now with a bunch of drives, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing. We are going to be hooking up drives just like how we have the drives for refined storage. However, it is going to be for applied energistics, and it looks very similar to this, actually. And I think we can go ahead and craft this now, actually. We just need quartz fiber, which is used from crushed surface dust, and then some glass. And we can make that really easily. And I'll show you guys how to do that. And just like that, we can go ahead and make these quartz fibers, and then we can then turn those into flux network cables. And then with that, we can go ahead and make ourselves this ME drive. And this is what is going to end up holding our storage disks. And we're going to go ahead and place these down right now. I think for now, what we should do is we'll just have it set like this, because this looks the coolest. We're going to put one in the middle there as well, and then we're going to just have this slot open. But what this is now going to allow us to do is we can put in storage into here. And that is going to be a little bit of a process that is also going to need to be made, as we are going to need to basically automate that using the auto crafting system in here. But we can make these drives by making a lot of these logic processors, and we're gonna need a lot of them, because these are the basic foundation for all of this. You can store them, but what we would end up doing is we would be turning these into the next tier, which requires quartz glass and calculation processors. The things that we are going to be needing the most of is the logic processors, which is the gold ones, and we are going to need the calculation ones, which is the Certus quartz. And that is why we have them growing a lot of it, because we are going to need an absolute mountain of them. Like, I think we're going to need close to, like, 1 million of them to reach the max tier, which is the 256k, or no, 256 million. Because if we go to the quest line here, we can see it goes all the way to 256 million. And that is insane. That will be plenty of storage for us. The only thing that is a little different in here is that unless you use the specific drive, which is the disk drives, which is a nice mod in here, these have types for them, which means you can only put 63 different types of items in here that can store up to 256,000. However, if you get the disk drives, it acts the same way as refined storage, and it can hold any amount of things up to 256,000. And that is going to be insanely helpful for us, as we are definitely going to want to end up getting that. Now, the other thing that we are going to want to get ourselves in this episode is we're going to definitely need to get this extended inscriber, because it's just going to be so much more helpful for us, and these aren't even that hard to get. We're just going to need to make ourselves some ME interfaces, and these are just used by getting formation cores and the other kind of cores, which, if I'm not mistaken, are very simple to craft. Yes, the Annihilation Core is literally just flux dust. So yeah, we're going to go ahead now, and I think what we should do now is we should go ahead and craft these. So let's go ahead and craft those bad boys up. Now, as a side note, for mechanism, we can actually go and craft these speed upgrades. And what this is going to do is it is basically going to allow us to speed up this process. Because as you can see in here now, we have 8 out of 8. And that increases our speed by 10. So if we were to put these into here, you can see that this is way faster than before. And we're going to go ahead and do that for the metallurgic infuser as well. And this is just going to make this entire process just that much faster. And that is going to be a lifesaver, as well as we can eventually go ahead and upgrade these to factories from mechanism. There are the factories, which this is just the, like, different factories. And this basically just makes it like how this is set up, where you can do multiple processes at once. Like, this can only do one process at a time. If we were to upgrade it to the factory, not only would the base speed of this be faster, but we would also be able to do multiples at a time. And that is what we are looking for. And if you don't know, another really nice reason that we're getting into here is because we actually need the mega storage component to actually make the improbable probability device, which is the thing that is used to craft the all the mods star. So this mod is dual purpose. You don't have to do this mod. You can use the refined storage mod, I believe, if you're using this. It's just the applied energistics route is also just going to be better later on anyways. Like if we go to the improbable probability device, it actually doesn't have it here. Yes, you can use the disks from refined storage. However, one benefit, a very big benefit to apply to Energistics over refined storage is this mod has compatibility with GregTech, which, for the record, refined storage does not. Because refined storage is really bad at NBT data. Like, we can go ahead and try to, like, crush iron, like crushed iron. Or iron dust, I believe. Yes. And if we were to try to do this, it would say that we don't have an ore hammer. Even though if we look up ore hammer, we do. We have 2 of them. It's just, it's really bad with NBT data. And that holds this back from a lot of different automation that requires the use of automating things with that. And Applied Energistics has that down. As well as Applied Energistics has compatibility with all of the major mods in here. For example, we now also have R's in this, to where we can do R's, or like applied. Like if we were to go ahead and do like a disk drive, or a drive, if I can type it right, we have all of these different additions things in here, and even this isn't it. We need the ME disk, or whatever these are, for the ME storage. Here we are. And with these different things, we can actually store things from different mods. Like this is from the R's things that allows us to store different mana. And that is incredibly powerful, and this mod just has compatibility with a bunch of these things, such as I believe in here somewhere there is for, yeah, this, for Botania. So this mod is just better than refined storage in every way. It's just a little bit harder to get into, and I completely understand if people just want to ignore it entirely. However, if you are serious about automating things and getting set up fully, Applied Energistics is the way to go. And I actually got tired of having to walk up and down these stairs to go get the stuff, so I finally went ahead and made us the omnidirectional connector for this. We just slap that on like so, and now all we are going to need to craft is we're going to need to craft ourselves a portable storage terminal. And this is just the exact same thing that we used to make this, so let's quickly go craft that. And just like that, we got ourselves the portable storage terminal. And how you link this is you just, I believe, right-click it, and now just like this, we can access our inventory and this stuff from literally anywhere. We're going to quickly configure it to the size that I like it, which is this size. We will now be able to see all of the resources in here from anywhere at any time. And that is just going to make crafting a whole lot easier. Now let's get back to crafting. And there we go. We finally got ourselves an extended inscriber. I've never used this for the record, but I'm very curious to see how this actually ends up working. Because if this works the way I think it does, this should be really good. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so what this basically does, apparently this is job 1. What does that mean? Okay, no, this is overpowered. That is insane. That is like, this is going to save so much time. I'm going to quickly show you guys really quick how this works, because this is insane. Okay, I got it completely set up. This is insanely powerful. But first things first, let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to get it some materials really quick. Let's just get about, like, a couple stacks of gold for this. And it doesn't even matter with this. We could just throw any and all of the materials into here, and it'll take what it needs. And we're also going to go ahead and get ourselves some redstone. We're going to get plenty of that. And now what we can just do is we could just put whatever materials are needed into here, and this is going to be doing all of the jobs in a single thing. In this one block, it is going to do all of the crafts for us. And this is just so powerful. This literally just makes it so that now we're completely able to automate this using only one, which means we could theoretically, we could just use this and spam a bunch of these. And that is going to be insanely powerful. And now, this just compacts our entire setup. And we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so here's the step-by-step process on actually how to set this up in the most compact way possible now. Because I just figured it out, so yes. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place your energy source right back here. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your inscriber like this. You're going to want a chest at the top, a chest at the bottom, and then a chest to basically cycle through and kind of filter what goes into here and kind of be its overall storage. We're going to have, we're going to go ahead, filter this. And now what we want to basically do is for this isn't going to have an upgrade, but for these 3 right here, these are all going to have upgrades in them. And this bottom one actually is going to need to get an upgrade because we need that bottom one to be a filter. And that is going to be important for a couple of reasons. It is going to be important because, well, we're going to need to basically filter out what's going back into it. Because what we do is with that bottom chest, we send things back into it. And it's really simple to actually go ahead and set one of these up. We're going to go ahead and craft ourselves this item pipe upgrade. Perfect. Now we can go set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to then apply a filter to the bottom of this. With this one, we are going to set up the auto crafting of calculation processors. And basically, we want to set all of these to stack up to 64 and have the automation come from any side. And we are going to allow auto-exported. So what this now is going to be able to do is in job 1, what we want is we're going to get this silicon process. So we're going to put that into here. Step 2 is we are going to make the actual calculation processors. That's going to go into here. And then in here, this is going to be where we combine all 3 of them. And then for the 4th one, put something that's not going to be used, such as a logic thing, because we're never going to be putting gold into here. Now, what we're going to end up going into this filter for is we are going to go look up applied energistics, and we're going to add a filter to basically pull out the calculation circuits and the silicon printed circuits So now, this is going to send those only into this chest. And this should be just set up to work. If we go ahead now and get ourselves some Certus quartz, we're going to get ourselves like 5 stacks of this, or however much will fit in my inventory. Gonna throw all those into here. Oh, and also make sure that you apply the acceleration cards, as this is just going to speed up the process. And then for job 2, we are going to want as much silicon as we can get. So we're going to just get our entire inventory filled with silicon. And we're going to throw that into this chest. And this is going to be exporting entire stacks at a time into here. So we're going to just make sure that that is the case, and yes, it is. And then finally, what we're going to do is we are going to get ourselves the redstone required for this operation. So there we go. And then we just throw all this into this chest like so. And just like that, it is going to start making these processes. However, I did set this thing up wrong. We need it to be like that, because otherwise it's going to crush this into Certus quartz dust. But there we go. Now this is working properly, and as you can see, this is just going to go through, make all of the processes it needs, and then completely fill up this area. And it's going to be going at a very fast pace. And we can just copy and paste this entire setup for whatever we need. So if we need Certus quartz or the calculation processors, we just set it up for this. If we need the logic processors, we'd set it up with gold. And if we needed the engineering processes, we'd just set it up with diamond. Now, since we have all this said and done, I think we should get ourselves our first disc. And I think a good starting disc for us will be the 64K. And this isn't going to be that hard to craft, since now we have auto crafting for the calculation and the logic. So we can be able to make this really easy. We're just going to need some quartz glass, and that's not going to be an issue whatsoever. So let's go ahead and get ourselves our first storage disk. And that didn't take long at all. And now we have our 64K ME storage controller. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to turn this into a disk drive. And it's a little expensive because it's able to do what refined storage does and store an infinite amount of things instead of just 64 of an item. But this is worth it. It's just an amethyst, 2 netherite, 2 redstone, and quartz dust. And just like that, we got ourselves a 64K ME disk drive. And now all we have to do is throw that into here, and now we officially have 64,000 items worth of storage. Now let's go ahead and access that. And to do that, we are going to need to get ourselves a crafting grid. And this thing isn't expensive at all. We're just going to make ourselves an illuminated panel. And then we are going to make the annihilation core and the formation core like we did before for the extended inscribers. And just like that, we can get ourselves an ME terminal. But not just that, we can get ourselves a crafting terminal. And this will allow us to do exactly what we can do here with this storage grid. But instead, this will work for applied energistics. And to go ahead and access this, we are going to grab ourselves these cables. And I'm pretty sure we have 2 of these, which we do. So we're going to go ahead and head right here, place it down like so. And this is only temporary because we're going to have this extend up into our room in the next episode, which, by the way, if you're wondering what the next episode is, we are going to be doing auto crafting using applied energistics. So I hope you check that out afterwards. And we're going to just place it like that. And just like this, we now have access to our storage terminal. Now, I'm pretty sure we can make this a bit bigger. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and mess around with the settings. And yeah, I'll be back in a second. And just like that, we have set it up correctly. And now we can literally throw whatever we want into here. And it's just going to go into this drive. Like, this is why, and this is going to be so helpful once we set up an actual, like, crafting area and auto crafting setup using applied energistics, it is just going to be significantly more helpful, and we definitely want to set this up. So let's go ahead now, and we're just going to transfer everything from our refined storage setup into this setup. And there we go. We have all of our items now successfully in here, and it's only taken up like 1/3 of the space because we only have one of these 64Ks. However, eventually we're going to get a lot more of them. But I just want to showcase one of the things that I mentioned recently. Now, if we go ahead and look up iron dust, it'll say we are able to craft it, and that's because even though this has NBT data, it recognizes this is still the hammer, and we can go ahead and use it. Which is exactly why I prefer applied energistics over the other one, because it just isn't that amazing. Search in sync with JEI search. That's something I don't want. So one of the things that makes this better is it can use NBT data. So if now that one's gone, it's going to find this ore hammer, and it's going to use that one. Also, if I was to just drag like this, it took so long to empty out my other terminal because when you hold shift and drag click, it won't take all of them out. It will take one of them out and then nothing else. Versus in here, I can do that and it'll empty it out insanely fast. Applied Energistics is just optimized significantly better than refined storage. However, refined storage definitely has its perks here and then. Like, this is the only mod that has an infinite storage, because Applied Energistics does not have infinite storage. You can get basically infinite storage, but it is not infinite. That is the one thing that is beneficial to this. Plus, this is a lot smaller and more compact, so maybe in some cases we will use this to autocraft the different things, but other than that, everything is going to be going through Applied Energistics. Again, massive shout out to our patron, Furball Rules. You guys should definitely go ahead and join them. Make it so that they have a friend up there on the wall. Go sub to my Patreon. The tier 2s and above get shown in this wall, as well as get a bunch of other fancy perks that are very cool. I'd highly recommend doing it. It supports me as a content creator and helps me get one step closer to taking this on as my full-time job. And that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for staying until the very end. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and a sub, and comment down below what you'd like to see in the next episode, or some ideas that you would like to see. And also go ahead and give a name to our dogo, as they do not have a name yet. If you guys are new here, go check out episode 1 of this series. And if you guys missed the last episode, go check out episode 11. But as always, my name is Dark Cloak, and until next time, peace out.